welcome to episode 5 of Cosmos Chronicles, and today I'm joined by Reece from Juno. So if you can just introduce yourself, Reece, and give us a brief background of what you've done in crypto and everything.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So I'm Reece. I work on the Juno network chain. It's a permissionless smart contract chain. What this allows for is anyone new to Cosmos that is a developer can come in with an idea, use our documentation and our tools that we have to launch their own idea into a protocol and to have a user base already there ready to use their application. So we're open for anyone to do it. You don't need any special like permissions or anything that it's permissionless. So we're the incubator chain for the Cosmos, trying to bring new ideas and building up those tools there. So I'm the software development lead here. I manage all the chain upgrades. I coordinate with validators. I do security updates, as well as focus on the design and future implementation and execution of ideas that we have, whether that be for the contract developers directly or for users. And so I have to decide which stakeholders get what when and try to manage all of that well. So there's some like project managed in there. So I have a very strong grasp of Juno's code base, as well as the future direction that we want to go with on the technical side, as well as some more like biz dev related things there.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Like you say, I've been a supporter of Juno since before it launched and all of that, like you say. But obviously, for people new, that's why it leads me to the next question, just to ask if you can, just like you say, explain a bit more, maybe about Juno from a user sort of perspective, and just explain that if anyone's new, if they don't know what Juno is, how can they use it or what can they use on it and things like that.
Yep. So currently you would need to be in the Cosmos ecosystem. So this is, Cosmos, Osmosis, you got, Atom, and you can use one of these exchanges to swap, some other token to the Juno token. Then you can then bring that onto the Juno chain. From there, you can stake it, you can delegate it. But the big thing about our chain is to execute on smart contracts. So they're on the website, junonetwork.io. There's a couple, contracts and things there. Raccoon Bet, Gelato, there's DAO, and some other projects. So that's the idea of while the network is there, you go to the website, you can go find other projects that are building on there, kind of find, hey, do you want to gamble? Do you want to do games? Do you want to do DeFi? And you can kind of, branch out into these sub teams that have their own little project and are, working to grow that. And the Juno community gets to leverage all of that because of the way that the chain is set up.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So if I'm someone non-technical and I'm new to crypto and things like that, can you just briefly explain what a smart contract is?
So smart contract is a developer builds some base logic that they want to do with different functions. So for example, maybe I want to send a token into a contract and I want it to stay there, and in return I get a different token back. So that would be like a swap, like on Osmosis. You can build that into a smart contract. So it allows someone to write code, upload it to the chain, then people can utilize that function. If the contract is open source, they can of course see that, and they can also go contribute to that if they are more technical. That's one function. Other functions that you have like governance systems like DAO, where they can build out complex voting systems and organizational structures, which like a normal business would have, but on chain. And so you're able to bring business and application logic to a network that anyone can use around the world, even if the front end, like we've seen with some projects, is blocked, but whether you're in the US or something, with smart contracts, you're able to still utilize that in other technical avenues. So anyone can build off of it. It's open for anyone to use. And it's based off of the developer's idea and design of the application for, the standard person to get to utilize.
Yeah, no, perfect. So if I sort of explain it another way, like you say, it's like if you have contracts in the traditional world, you normally get one party sign one part, someone else sign the other part, and then a third party authorises once it's been done and does all of that. Basically, what smart contracts do is they get rid of the middleman, don't they? So it's the chain that verifies that one side of the contract's been met and the other side's been met, and then it's the smart contract that releases, say, both sides. So it's basically smart contracts are sort of cutting out the middleman in the traditional world, in a sense.
It cuts out the middleman because, I guess the first part is the developer uploads it. So that's kind of like the first, they've signed it. They've said, I want this on chain. And then people that utilize that afterwards can look at the code or can, understand what the functions do. And they're that second half. And then the chain is the chain is the middleman that they verify that that you provided everything that is needed based off of the developer's required logic, and then you got everything that you're supposed to get back, or whatever action was supposed to be taken on other contracts there.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. That is amazing. So what I will ask is, well, it's like if I explain to everyone, we're not going to go into any deep dives or anything like that. We're going to keep it quite basic and simple with the first video, and we'll come back and revisit other things. But can you just explain, say from this position now, what's the future of Juno? What do what are the positive things that you see coming? If you can just explain how you see it coming.
Yeah, so the biggest thing right now is a lot of organizational changes are currently in the works. This includes the Juno Constitution, which will be an outline for exactly what the chain has rights to do and should not do in future events. That would, of course, require, I think, like a supermajority of stakers to change. So it's more than the standard Cosmos SDK 50%, probably 66 plus. And so we're working on that. We've got multiple teams and different individuals there. Another aspect of organizational structures is the dissolvement of Core 1, and currently Jake Hartnell is working on that, as well as the Juno working group. So the idea is, this is a community-owned chain. Let's try to have as much of the community, from all aspects of life and business and things like that, have access to control and get a voting power in this, and allow new members to come in. Because I think since Core 1 started, we've only had 2 members come in, and everyone's kind of more on the technical side, other than Max, and Wolf was also more on marketing. But it's important to have not just technical people, but business related people, marketing, like all these other things. And so the idea is that there would not be a Core 1 structure. It would be a core DAO, and then there would be like sub departments like you would have in a normal business. So this is the next big step. And then of course, each leader of the department would be on that core DAO. So it would be a vote-in based system. We can rotate people in and out. Vesting contracts would be owned by the community. So if the community decides, hey, we don't like this person for XYZ reason, they can just put a governance proposal up and remove them. So it's really trying to push us forward in being more, community-based and allowing the community to have more say than any other chain currently. I believe we're already leading in the fact that the core DAO is already a governance-controlled organization, but it's how can we get to that next step and really push forward even further. And so from the organizational side, that is the current thing. And then there's a lot of cool stuff in the pipeline for the technical side, including connecting with Polkadot soon, where I'm doing some work on. Myself and the Strangelove team are doing some work up on the WASM client. I'm definitely trying to get that through, so that way that we can permit.
Oh, I lost you for a sec.
And Casa WASM. Yep.
Oh, sorry, I lost you for a split second there. What was that last little bit?
So connecting with the Polkadot ecosystem through Cosm WASM. So, that's our smart contract platform, and that's super awesome to get to connect over there through IBC. So that's the next big technical thing that I'm currently working on, which is super, super exciting.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So is Juno still working with Osmosis on mesh security?
Yeah, so mesh security is between Osmosis, Jake Hartnell, I believe Zeke was working on that as well, and then the Confio team is really the people leading it there. Jake's tried to get me into working on that multiple times. The issue is there's so much to do on the core protocol side of upgrades and connecting with Polkadot and things that I've just not had time yet to do that. It's something I'm interested in, and I kind of just go over and look through it, but I've not personally had time to do it, so it's kind of more other people dealing with that. So that's a little bit out of my hands currently.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like you say, no, it's good to hear certain things, because obviously a lot of online, all we ever hear about is price action and things like that. Whereas, like you say, you need to start looking sometimes at what's actually happening on the chain. Because if I'm right, the staked rate has still been climbing, positively throughout the whole bear market. Personally, I think Juno has good tokenomics. I don't see anything wrong with it. I know a lot of other chains are doing that. I mean, is there anything that you guys are thinking of tokenomics wise, adjusting or tweaking or anything like that?
So I believe Jake is thinking through some tokenomic changes. We're not, of course, not doing anything. I don't think that the bear market is the time to be changing tokenomics. Because if you thought it was good in the bull market, unless you've specifically designed it only for a bull market, in which case your token wouldn't have pumped. So I think that it's important to wait until we're back into the bull market, understand what was bad, and then begin to start changing that and thinking through that in a time where everyone's happy and that is a smart decision there. So from a tokenomic side, we're still, solid on what we have now. Of course, the chain is permissionless. Anyone can go in and vote, and people can decide to change it if they want to. But as a core team, we're currently pretty happy with where things are at. The only thing that we have changed is the fee structure. So Juno has significantly increased our fees from, micro pennies of a cent now up to roughly 1 penny, maybe 2 pennies in some transactions. So this has seen a massive increase in fees. Our fees are at an all-time high now, where the network's much more sustainable in that aspect. While it's still cheaper than, other networks that are currently launching, it's a lot more expensive than common networks, and it helps reduce a lot of spam, reduce validator overhead, and things like that. So that's the only thing that has changed on the economic side.
Yeah, no, that's great. And just to go back on the constitutional side, like you say, because it's something that I think Juno needs put on the chain soon, because like you say, from A to B we can forget about that, but at least from B to C we've got that in place, and we can learn from the mistakes. So what roughly is the constitution? Can you just roughly give us an idea of what sort of things will be in it that Juno's learnt from its past?
Yep. So I'll pull it up now and just kind of go over some things. So it defines what is Juno, how should the governance change, how should governance decide on-chain decisions. That will include some things like we have software upgrades, which is kind of a forced thing. It's either it goes through or it doesn't. But then you have these other, they're called signaling proposals, where someone can think of an idea that they want to do, but they don't know the technical implication, or it may be a lot. And so we need to define how do we prioritize this relative to other things. So that's a big thing there. This will be helped as we move to more of a DAO based governance system where, multiple choice voting, selecting and having different, almost like, senators and kind of things like that, as we move into getting validators away from being the sole politicians of the chain, allowing for politicians to come through. And so, building up those organizational structures there. We'll be identifying official sub-DAOs. So what does it mean to actually be a sub-DAO? Who owns it? Who maintains it? Who controls it? From a organizational structure there. Having a council, different departments, things like that. Some other things are staffing responsibilities, treasury management, funding policies. So that's something that Denny is currently working on now, before we get this out. Accounts that we can modify. So to ensure that something like Proposal 16 does not happen again, where we take someone's funds. The idea would be that a normal user account is their account, but the only accounts that can be modified are contracts that are controlled by a sub-DAO based off of their request, or something related to vesting accounts for the core DAO. So that way that it's governance controlled accounts can be modified, but normal user accounts cannot. So these are kind of the things here. And then there's also how to ratify the constitution and things like that. So it's just a broad outline of making sure that we don't overstep our place, and that we're in a good position for future growth to look past, to go past our previous downfalls, and to ensure that doesn't happen again, and that it's set in stone, that we know exactly what can and can't be done.
Yeah, no, that's great. Like you say, I think that's all you can do is learn from your mistakes, make things better. It's an experimental. Crypto's all experiments at the moment anyway. So a lot of it is trial and error and things like that. But like you say, nothing's over until not until it hits absolute zero. Then nothing's over. Just keep building, and we keep doing that. So yeah, I think what we might do, if you're happy, is maybe we'll just leave it at this for today. I think you've covered basically what Juno is, and the steps going forward. And then maybe we can revisit again in 2-3 months' time. We can get some community questions, maybe even go live and do a live AMA or something like that. And just see where Juno's at again in 3 months' time. And fingers crossed it's more people are building and more people have come over. So
absolutely. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Look forward to it.
Yeah, no, it's been great having you on, and I look forward to having you on again soon.
Thanks. Good seeing you.
Perfect.
Bye.
Cheers, Reece. Nice one.